You're looking at the ownership, and it's not the old regime. So traditional to Chelsea isn't traditional to Tom and the owner and stuff. So I understand it. He plays a brand of football that is exciting for everyone to watch and entertaining, and pretty much every coach speaks highly of him and the way their teams play. So from that aspect, it makes sense, and I understand it. Also from the structure of the club, it may make sense. I think he's not going to want to come in and have control of elements of the club, is he? He's going to want to come in and coach the team, coach the players, and only do that and only focus on that. I think Thomas Tuchel had spoke recently about being involved in things and now wanting to get back to just coaching the players. So I think they've decided on a coach that possibly they have more power than. I think if you sign a bigger name, he may come in and may want to be part of the structure, which evidently can be harder to restructure when that manager leaves, if that makes sense. I think with Graham Potter coming in, he's only coaching the players. He probably has a style of play. Recruitment may be easier because, again, he's used to working with a certain level in the greatest respect, where now he's working at the elite level and they'll be able to implement what he asks, I'm sure, as efficient. It's going to be a totally different level of pressure. Entertaining isn't going to be enough. Entertaining and losing isn't going to be enough. Wanting to win and having to win are different. I speak a lot about this to friends and players that I work with, younger ones, and say, we all want to win, but then there's a pressure of having to win. And Chelsea, that comes with Chelsea and being at the top. Like the top teams have to win. And then when you win, you have to then win in style. So there's always going to be a level of pressure that is going to be relatively new to Graham Potter. And it's not easy. It's not the reason why these managers and players perform at the top and regarded as the best is because they're able to deal with that. And they said, I don't think he's going to struggle with that aspect. I think he's anticipated this coming. I think he's wanted this to come in regards to perform at the top, and be considered as elite as some of the other coaches. And like I said, the respect that is shown towards him, there may be some fear from the other teams as well. Because again, now he's working. No one would look forward to going to Brighton because they knew it was going to be a tough game tactically and all that. So now with a Chelsea squad that is strong, arguably strong as anyone's in the league, it will be a really difficult place to go. You need a certain belief and ego to perform at the top, and that's what it requires, whether you like to admit it or not. But in regards to that aspect, it's going to be difficult because it's new for Graham Potter. It's not new for Thiago Silva. Yes, there may be less understanding of knowing who he is, but he's going to have a respect. Players like that have a level of respect for the coach. That's why they are there. That's why they have been successful. But in regards to Graham Potter now having to implement his style and get a buy-in, I think that's what it is. It's not necessarily a Graham Potter coming from Brighton thing. I think it's Thomas Tuchel brought these players in. It was similar to Mancini coming to Man City after Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes brought us all in, so we had a different level of respect. We didn't have respect for Mancini, but it was just a different level because he was the manager that brought us into the club, and that happens a lot when you're brought in by a certain manager or coach. It's just a different bond, and rightly so. And then a new manager comes in, and as I said, it's kind of like, well, now we need to get on board with this coach. And I'm sure if they're winning games, the players buy into it straight away. But it's when it doesn't, and it takes time. And that could be an expensive transition again for Chelsea, because I'm not saying Graham Potter's going to want to come in and change players in January, but if players ain't working, it's not going to be his fault, is it? It's going to be their fault in regards to, well, I didn't buy these players. That's going to be his get out. And that's what Chelsea as a club need to be mindful of and think, well, these players are brought in. If the coach doesn't get the best out of them, and then who's held responsible in this early period?